Hey, welcome to another episode of the Philosophy Podcast. I am your host, Controversy, and to my right, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, none other than Mr.
Darren Love.
And together, we are the Philosophy Podcast. Thank you to you guys for tuning in to a brand new episode. Thank you for tuning in once again this week, guys. And like we always say, what is on the agenda for this week, mate? What is today's
hot topic?
That's it. What are we talking about this week, mate?
Well, because it's Christmas, I thought we'd talk about celebration today. What is celebration? What people celebrate, really, basically. And
Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that.
Christmas,
I like that.
whatever, you know,
Yeah.
'cause it's
Before we go any further, mate,
yeah, happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, my good sir.
And happy Christmas to everyone else too.
Health, wealth, prosperity, and
Goodness.
all of God's blessings.
Yeah. So we're all blessed, aren't we? Really? 'Cause
Oh, we are.
say we're just lucky to be alive.
That's it. That's it.
And that's how you got to.
That's how you got to approach it.
Well, you got to think that every hour, you know, you're just lucky to be alive,
Like,
basically.
well, every day you got to remind yourself you've got another 24 hours to make a difference. You know, as long as you're alive, you can change. You've got the power to change things. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you want to change about your life, or in your life, or about yourself, or whatever else, as long as you're alive, you can do that. You know, that's why life is the greatest blessing. But yeah, this week we're talking all about
Christmas and celebrations, basically, or birthdays or whatever, you know.
what are your thoughts, what are your opinions, etc., mate.
Oh, I think we've all got a different opinion about it, haven't we? Especially
yeah.
about Christmas. You know. I think we'll talk about Christmas first of all, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, what's your opinion about Christmas? Because
Well, I've got a bit of a conflicted opinion when it comes to Christmas, because, like, well, there's many different ways you can look at it, right? Christmas originally, was what was known as Saturn. They used to worship, it was to do with the planet Saturn. Yeah, the original thing about Christmas was to do with Saturn. Yeah, they used to call it, I think it was like the Saturnalian Festival, or something like that. That the Romans used to have, or something. I can't remember. I think it was the Romans anyway. So like the origins of Christmas anyway is a pagan thing anyway to begin with. It has nothing to do with Christianity and religion, as much as people may think or would like to think. The December 25th is all about when the sun in the sky, when the sun in the sky, on December 21st, the sun gets to its lowest point that it ever gets to during the year, and then come December 21st, 3 days later, the sun then returns to its highest point in the sky, which is called the zenith, So the ancient people used to say that the sun in the sky I'm talking about, has died, and now it has re-risen, So that was what that whole thing is all about. It has nothing to do with the birth of Christ, or to do with Jesus, even though they've made it, this is what they've turned it into modern day, through Catholicism and all these various different things, they introduced this into Christianity, made it basically the birthday of Christ, and the day that they would celebrate the birth of Christ and all this kind of thing, if you see what I mean. But in all actuality, it actually has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. It's all to do with it all has pagan origins, if you see what I mean. Basically it used to be a festival all about gluttony. Essentially, people would partake in it. It'd be behaving like gluttons and eating and drinking. It was a big festival where people were allowed to, do all sorts of shit. They used to get up to all sorts of things in those times. Sex orgies and all sorts of things. So yeah, that's where the origins of Christmas really come from. So yeah. But like I said as well, at the same time, I don't really necessarily see Christmas as like a bad thing either, if you see what I mean. If the whole basis of your Christmas is literally getting together as a family and having a nice meal together and communicating together and having a nice time together and then sharing some presents, partaking in sharing some presents and toward giving to each other, receiving as well. Sometimes you do receive, so you're giving and receiving. It's a nice feeling, it's nice to be able to do that, especially if like family are really busy and people are like living in different places and stuff like that. If it's the one day a year that it gets everyone together and kind of unifies people and brings the family together and etc., then I don't see it as necessarily a bad thing either, and it's great for the kids as well. It's quite magical for the kids, having presents and the whole fantasy of Santa Claus and all this kind of thing. But yeah,
I can see the magic of it.
Yeah.
In some places, but not in other places in a kind of way. There's a lot of lonely people out there.
Yeah.
That don't get Christmas presents at all, whatever. Or
yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of jealousy that gets, or there's a lot of pressure that put on people before Christmas. To wrap up all the presents and get the right things for everyone. Make sure that whoever you bought a present for, they're going to be happy about it and not insulted.
Yeah.
Or upset about what you bought them and all this. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe you bought a couple of children that a couple of presents, and one of them is better than the other one.
Yeah.
Or the other. It creates a few problems. And sometimes children get too spoiled as well.
True. Yeah.
They just get too much.
Yeah.
And then when you get too much, you just don't really learn to appreciate it. Really, I feel. I just feel like Christmas is a kind of like more of a business thing. Sort of like to get people spending money in a funny way. Make much money as possible and then close down basically and have one day off. And it's kind of over before you know it. But I can see how beautiful it can be for children.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Depending again, we talk about childhood and parented, and if the children's got good parents or not. Are they alcoholics? Are they on drugs?
Depends on the circumstances.
Exactly. Are they giving their children a good Christmas, or are they spending it on themselves?
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like Christmas is too. I don't think it's natural. I don't think like Christmas Day's always been here. I think it's sort of like for instance, all the days of the week. Now it's Monday. Now it's Tuesday. This has been moulded into us very slowly in time.
Yeah.
From a child, as soon as you go to school, they say, well, this is holiday now because it's Easter holiday.
Yeah.
Now it's Christmas holiday, and it's kind of like moulded. This is summer holiday now. Do you know what I mean? This is when we celebrate that.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the government sort of like moulded everyone. This is the way it is, and it's always going to be this way, and nobody's going to change it. And I don't really agree with it. In a kind of way, I think we should celebrate every day in a funny way. And it's no good just saving up for one day and celebrating it. You see what I mean? Or just saving up for one birthday a year. I mean, apparently, like all the Egyptian kings had a lot more than one birthday a year.
Okay.
It's just they gave that to the peasants. They said they're allowed to have one birthday, but we're allowed to have every day.
Different rules for it. Yeah.
We're because we're king, it's our birthday every day. Do you know what I mean? But those peasants down there, you have one birthday a day, and that's when the sun comes around. They're making the rules up.
Yeah, one birthday a year. Yeah.
They're making the rules up. And slowly in time today, people, that's what they believe. Of what they've been taught in ancient times in the kind of way. We're still following those guidelines in a funny way, where I don't know, like birthdays. Sometimes if you sort of like, sometimes I forget how old I am.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, or what year it is even sometimes. I just think it's a bit of all illusion.
Well, I think as you get old, the older you get, it becomes. Don't get me wrong, you still celebrate it, and there is still some kind of like significance to it. Your birthdays, that is, but it's like it becomes like almost like another day. It's like, don't get me wrong, you still enjoy. You try to enjoy it more than the average day. Even you might have a drink. You might have a nice. Go out and have a nice meal somewhere really nice, and do a few nice things that day that you wouldn't kind of always normally do or whatever. As you get older, like I said, it just becomes like another day. It's
Well, now I'm 58. Yeah. 58, and you're
30. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a lot more Christmases than you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm kind of getting fed up with them now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, here we go again. And they come round so quickly as well. You know, it just feels like this Christmas just gone, and now this one's coming.
Yeah.
In a kind of way.
I know.
It's only a few. Well, yeah, it's
come
only
around.
a few days.
It's come around again very quickly, hasn't it?
You know. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on certain people, because we're already poor.
Yeah.
And people are already struggling to get food. And like some children, parents got money and they can have a lovely Christmas. Other parents are struggling, they can't put the heat on.
Yeah, true.
Their children and all that, you know, and it's just not so good for some children, I suppose, you know. But me personally, I had a really good childhood.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I didn't like school.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy about that. But once I was home, I had some nice holidays every year. And when Christmas come round, my parents always made sure we had a magical Christmas.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
You know, we had really, really nice times. And I feel that a lot of children get that, you know, but some don't.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. There's some places in the world, mate, that kids don't even get any presents at all.
No, exactly.
You know, people that, even here in the UK this year, there'll be some kids' parents that, yes, you know, they're doing their absolute best, you know, but they can't afford any extras. There won't be any presents or any, you know, and the average Christmas meal you might have won't be as extravagant as you might get in another household, if you see what I mean. You know, so it's like you said, it all kind of depends on your parents' kind of like financial kind of situation, and also their beliefs as well. Because you also got some religions and certain you know, belief systems and spiritualities, and you know, certain people and things, they don't celebrate Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know, they don't celebrate. You know,
that's what I mean. We all got different views about Christmas, isn't it? I mean,
so
it's like the Christmas tree.
Mm.
You know, chopping down trees, basically. You know, it's
Yeah.
not really Jesus-y or godly, is it? You know what I mean? Cutting down trees, decorating, put lights on them.
Well, it talks about it in the Bible, actually.
Well, it's quite strange, really.
Even in the Bible, there's a verse talking about that, actually. Talking about people cutting down trees and dressing them up in their house and putting lights on them. Honestly,
weird, isn't it?
honestly, like,
Weird.
even after this episode, when this episode's finished, mate, I'll try and remember to show you that verse in the Bible where it talks about it, which is really quite funny as well. You know, there's a verse in there talking about, you know, like I said, like exactly what you just said, people cutting down trees and dressing them up in their, you know, taking them into their house and dressing them up, and you know, that kind of thing, you know. So, you know, like you said, very similar to you, I've always had kind of like a nice Christmas in my household as well growing up. My mum always did her best, like, even though like my mum was a single parent predominantly for most of my life, and she always did her best, but like throughout the year she wasn't always able to buy like lots of extras, and like she'd always provide the essentials and the necessities, if you see what I mean. But like other things and stuff like that, sometimes you would have to wait till Christmas to get, like, you know, like a nice present or get something nice, you know. And yeah, she would always kind of like outdo herself on Christmas Day. You know, she would always ensure that we would have a good Christmas, if you see what I mean. That it would be really like magical to us, and you know, she spent a lot of money. You know, she'd save for a while and spend a lot of money on all of us. You know, and did everything by herself. You know, to make it wonderful and magical for us. You know, and it used to be a really nice, you know, really nice day almost every single year. Not, you know, some years were better than others, you know, depending on how much money my mum had, of course. You know, that was the main factor, of course, is always money. So yeah, some years were better than others, but yeah, generally speaking, we always had a good Christmas. You know, she always did her best to ensure that, you know, it was special for us. And me as a father now, having two kids, like, I try to, especially now my kids are getting older, well, we've always done Christmas and we've always done presents for them, but the good thing about it now is they're getting older, they can understand what Christmas is kind of about and really supposed to be about. You know, the you know, family being together and having a nice time together, having a meal together, you know, just you know, bonding, you know. And also the presents are a plus, of course, you know, because you still want to buy your kids presents, you know, you still want to make them, you know, want to buy them that new favourite toy they want, or that new favourite video game they want, or, you know, whatever it is, you know. You know, especially me as a father, I quite enjoy spoiling my kids, you know. That's like, Like, because my mum wasn't always able to do that. She did her best, you know. She always did great. She did, you know, fantastic as a single parent. But I want to be able to do more, if you see what I mean. Like, just having just that pride as a father, you know, and as a man, you want to be able to give your kids the world if you can, you know. So
give them happy times.
Exactly.
No bad atmosphere, you know.
No.
Whatever, you know. It's not worrying about, you know, sort of sitting around the table and starting an argument.
No.
You know, and ruin the whole thing, you know. So I mean, my Christmas is in a kind of way of kind of getting better, I feel.
Yeah.
Now they are, because my son's a bit older now, and it's been difficult for me in a kind of way, you know, because of separations, whatever, you know. But now I just feel that, you know, like I'm celebrating today. To be honest with you, I feel a lot happier today, right? Because last night at 11 o'clock, my daughter suddenly, you know, sort of like ringing my bell, and I was sort of looking out the window. It's my daughter, and I've not seen her for 9 years, you know. And I've not seen her much really since she was 6 years old, to be honest with you, you know. Only very few days I've had of her, you know. I've just had my right stolen away from her, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there she was, 25 years of age, and she rang my bell, do you know what I mean? And it was sort of a bit of a shock to my system, do you know what I mean? And she stayed tonight, you know, and it just feels like I've got a daughter back, you know, and I'm kind of like celebrating that now.
Yeah, of course, which is fantastic.
So when you had your rights taken away...
Yeah, for such a long time.
Well, I'm just sort of saying, when someone or the government takes your rights away, it's like being nailed to a cross, and that's the truth. You know, I know you're not nailed to a cross, but I can relate it to that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it just feels like I've been nailed to the cross week after week, because I'm not allowed to see my own two, you know, children.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting, because my children love me and I love them, do you know what I mean? So why separate love in a kind of way? You know, I've done nothing wrong ever. Never hit them, got no police threat or nothing, but for some reason they've said I'm not allowed to see them. You know, and it's been a bit cruel, you know, a bit nasty. But now that she come and saw me yesterday, you know, I kind of know that she's alive. I feel a lot happier, you know, that it's been, say, like having your head cut off in a way. You know, if your daughter has been taken away and you've already spent like, because I left her when she was 6 years old, do you know what I mean? And you know, I had to just sort of leave my family home because we were just having such a problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just lovely, you know, it's just gave me peace of mind, basically, after all these years that she's come to me.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, we had a lovely time together, you know, it was both nice for both of us.
Yeah.
Because I think she was missing me a lot too. So I think it healed me big time. You can imagine sort of that happening to you, you know, having your children taken away and you can't do much about it. Because otherwise you have the police after you or whatever, you know, it's that situation. So I had to keep well away. And last night ringing my bell, I thought it was you ringing my bell.
Yeah, maybe you told me, you thought it was me.
So, you know, I just feel a lot happy, you know, that, you know, because I felt a bit worried that I'd never see her again. With me.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest with you, she's just come back from America, living there for a year, you know, and I was thinking, oh, I am lucky to see her, because she was sort of thinking about living there for good, you know.
Yeah.
So, you've got to celebrate life. You know?
Yeah, true, yeah.
And it has been very, very difficult for me over these, you know, year after year, but today, all of a sudden, I feel better.
Yeah. Understandably.
Yeah.
9 years is a long.
I know where my children are.
It's 9 years is a very long time, mate.
Well, it's kind of a bit longer than that, you know, because the last time I did see her 9 years ago, it was just a quick, brief hello, you know what I mean, and that was it. And it was just going on, it's been ongoing for a long time. But, you know, I've really, really rarely managed to get my children, it's been a bit like that. Yeah, you know, to be honest with you, I married somebody that was complete, you know, almost complete deaf, you know, couldn't hear, and that is difficult. Living with somebody that can't hear, it's like living with somebody that can't see. So I took on a lot, I think, you know, more than I, you know,
anticipated.
Well, when I look back, I think that, you know, I realise why life is so difficult for me in a kind of way. You know, if you're married to somebody that can't hear you, you're gonna have problems. If you see what I mean, I think, you know. But anyway, that's it. You know, I'm celebrating that fact. You know, that is something to celebrate.
Of course, yeah.
You know, your daughter's still alive.
Kind of reunited, kind of like, you know.
That is something real to celebrate, I think.
Oh, of course, yeah, very much so.
So, I mean, this Christmas coming up, I'm just gonna have a normal day.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I celebrate every day.
Same.
You know, like tomorrow, you know, I know that I'm gonna have an amazing day, and I kind of feel like life does get better if you work at it. And I do. I work every day. You know, sort of like I'm always doing something, and you got to enjoy what you're doing in life as well. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But I just feel like life is getting better for me. You know, now I'm reunited with my daughter. That's nice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And also my oldest son. You know, I give him a cuddle. You know, I'm starting to. You know, we're starting to both get closer to each other. You know, as we're getting older.
Starting to bond more.
Well, as we're getting older, you know, it's been difficult for the whole family. You know, to be honest with you, I think governments separate. They don't help. You know, they don't help families stay together.
Stay connected.
They kind of like, I don't know, they divide you. If anything, you know. I mean, these family courts, because I went through them, and they're disgusting. They were for me anyway. That's my experience. You know, absolutely disgusting. And I feel like they don't do nothing for children. And at the end of the day, you know, they're doing it all for money or something. You know, there's something wrong with it all.
Yeah.
Something nasty behind it all. I don't know what, but they, you know, when I went to 6 court cases, and that, you know, I was not spoken. You know, they didn't talk to me. It's all done behind my back. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they didn't even send. They just said you can't see her anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not nice. You know, it's nasty. You know, it's kind of like living with a toothache every day.
Yeah.
But you know, you're not in pain in that way. You know, just sort of like pain in a mental way. That
emotionally.
Your rights have been taken away. You know, it's like you got big white wings on your back and someone's cutting them off.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's nasty. You know, you're trying to be a good father, and everyone's saying, no, you can't. You know, you're not a good father.
You're not allowed. Yeah.
You know, it's completely opposite. Because I mean, I used to take my children to feed the ducks and do really nice things with them. Do you know what I mean? Play plasticine. You know, I was just sort of like there for them. You know, and spent as much time as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And of course, my ex-wife met somebody else, and that was it for me. Do you know what I mean? And then she took the children. You know, and that's nasty. And
yeah.
you know, it's just nasty. The courts are on her side. You know. Crazy. You know, women lie in the courts, by the way.
Yeah.
Some women do. You know.
Everyone. Lots of people.
Not all women, but
lots of people lie.
They just tend to lie to protect their own children.
Yeah.
Some women. You know, that's what I've heard anyway. I'm not saying that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something to celebrate. You know, I feel a lot happier today. But
yeah,
I've got my children back in a kind way. You know, after all these years of suffering.
Magical moment, mate. Yeah.
And that's it. Children, they do bring magic, don't they? You know, like if you give them magic, they give the magic back. It's quite magical.
But it's a memorable moment as well, because it's a moment that you'll never forget too. Like, you know, hopefully now going forward, you will continue to be reunited, and your relationship will continue to kind of blossom. You know, hopefully. You know. But obviously, like you said, take it slow. Time will tell. You know. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Like I say, I felt that we just were happy.
Yeah. 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 Kind of connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice, you know. So it's quite emotional, really, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're talking about Christmas a little bit and all that.
Yeah.
And I think it sometimes goes over the top. Can it? You know?
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I just think you just got to be careful of Christmas. I mean, if I don't do Christmas really anymore. I'm sort of celebrating it now because we're talking about it, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
in all honesty, let's be honest today. Christmas today basically is something else that starts with another C, which is